When I started off on my journey, I decided that I am not going to allow a press photographer to take my picture. I think I have evolved as a person through this journey of being a son. I'm the only child. And being a boyfriend, and then a husband, and then a dad.
Your favorite Tamil word?
Araga. Araga.
Okay. Will that be the name of your next collection, perhaps? But I want to move a little bit to collection Tangam, and such a special word,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the first time I heard it, it's not gold that rang in my ears, but what really rang in my ears was my father calling me Tangam, and this act of endearment, right? So, in the context of Chennai and the context of Tamil, it's not just an aesthetic, it's a feeling, it's an emotion, right? I was thinking about how it's a metti on a bride's toe, the temple kavacham, the grandmother's todu. When you began thinking about Tangam, which specific memory or specific Chennai memory did gold first arrive as?
I think it'd be very unfair to answer this question without taking you back a year where our journey started with an ode to Chennai, and that was Idam.
That's right.
And Idam was born out of a tremendous love that I had for the city, and this urge to give back to the city where the label was born and which still continues to nurture it. And Idam was a celebration of what Tamil Nadu was or is, right? The palette is the red and white temple walls, and like you said, the jasmine flowers, the Madras checks. And the whole idea of Idam was to be able to be a storyteller, not of the brand, not of the collection, but of who we are and where we come from. And I have to very honestly admit that I think I found myself in that journey, through that journey, which I did not over the last 18 years of doing what I did. So as you can see in our aesthetic, you see that there is a very beautiful shift in how we have integrated, amalgamated our journey of 18 years, getting rooted into something so culturally strong. And I believe everything has a time, and the universe aligned, and hence Idam, which led to Tangam. Idam, which began as a collection, has become more of a movement. It is about being proud of our rootedness, our heritage, and to be able to say the story of who we truly are. There's a certain amount of nostalgia that comes with the fact that, when we go back to saying, about our, our heritage or our, lineage, there is so much nostalgia which is in there. Tangam is a very beautiful dedication to my mother. That is her name. And Tangam is all about not gold that shines. It is not about jewelry. It is about, like how gold is always there to stay, and like how a grandmother or a grandfather keeps that piece of jewelry or that sari or that watch to pass on to their,
loved one,
grandson or their loved one. Tangam is all about celebrating those values,
right,
and how it gets passed on. and what stays is who we are and where we came from, through that values being transcended through generations.
Right.
So Tangam is a very beautiful representation of this ideology, which is away from the literal meaning of Tangam, it being gold. And like you rightly said, it just sounds so beautiful.
It's really,
Yeah.
really. So in many ways, Vivek, Tangam is an intangible,
Yeah.
right? But to actually translate an intangible into an actual piece of wearable garment is obviously your job, and you know that really well. But I'm curious to know, how do you put thought to paper and then paper to craft?
Sleepless nights.
Diet Coke?
No. No, there is always, I think, like any creator would, there is a design process that you go through, and that design process is led by a certain vision that you have in your head. You visualize, as in, at least that's the way I think. I usually visualize the collection even before I make the collection.
It's in your head.
There is, yeah, it's already in my head, to the extent that, Shreya gets very upset with me because, I'm already thinking of how I want to do the show even before the garment is made.
Wow.
Because, for me,
It's the entire...
that is, yes, a production is what makes a beautiful story.
Yeah.
A garment is a part of that story. It is that light, it is that background, it is that music. It has to be so sensorial for your creation to have the maximum impact. And when I say maximum impact, it means it has to touch a chord. Right? You have to resonate with it. It is not just about clothes. It is about a feeling. It is about an experience.
Right.
So I visualize this and then I work backwards. So I have silhouettes, then I work on textile, and then you already have a base that you've already created with your most favorite kanjivarams and the silks that you're surrounded by. And how do you amalgamate this rich cultural tapestry which you are enveloped in and give it a new life? My dream is to take Kanjivaram to the world. As in, my dream is to reimagine Kanjivaram in a manner that, we feel so proud, the South Indian diaspora across the world feels so proud to see, somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a louder one would be good. Thank you for that. Vivek, just while I was driving, I was thinking about the word idam, and I'm going to ask audiences here if I'm wrong. I was thinking about idam as two things. One, idam as the idea of identity, but also idam as, the idam idu, home, right? So in many ways, your idam, your identity is the identity of a Keralite, of a Malayali.
Yeah.
But you came and made Chennai and sort of decided to wear this, everything that the word Tamil and Chennai stands for. So your idam became Chennai.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, and even though we say South Indian, there is a very distinct sort of difference between the aesthetic of, I always think about when you take a train from Chennai to Kerala, Trivandrum, somewhere when it's sort of crossing the border, when we're entering Kerala, there is a certain silence that descends. I always feel there is a certain buzz about the Tamil language, which is loud and, excitable and everything. But there is a certain quietness even about the way people dress in, in Kerala.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how the idam, which is sort of an amalgam of identity and home, and you sort of have these two identities merged into one. I'm very curious about how they met.
That is me as a person. Because I think I'd like to say that is also my strength. I adapt very easily, and I think my strength in the journey that I've had is about the idea that I have adapted without losing myself. And on that anecdote, I'm going to tell you that fashion industry is a very tough industry to be a part of. As in, I see a lot of
a lot of people nodding, yeah.
Right. There is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of expectation, and I'm going to be as candid as I am. There are a lot of things which are out there that you see, which is a glitz, glamour, the parties, everything, right? When I started off on my journey, I decided that I am not going to allow a press photographer to take my picture for the first 4 years of the brand, because I decided that I did not want to be another page 3 designer. I decided that I wanted my product to do the talking, and I did not want to be page 3. But I learned the hard way that it does not work like that. That is when I understood that you have to be your biggest ambassador, whether you like it or not. And this is what I call about, about adapting, right? The most difficult line to walk is that thin line where you have your principles, but you adapt without losing them. So how do you do that? That walking that thin line is what is, for me, which is success. It is not about where you've reached. It is that journey which continues from that day till today, and which is still going to continue, is what is success. Because it is very easy to lose yourself, either to this side or that side. Right? So how do you do that? That is what makes you. Now, coming back to your question about adapting, I am a Malayali. I'm a thoroughbred Malayali, very proudly so. I can read and write Malayalam. And you're not going to like me for saying this, I speak very, very bad Tamil. So what I do is that I Tamilize my Malayalam because it is very close in language. And more often than not, when I'm taking off in my office on someone, it is the most horrible, hilarious Tamil that you could ever hear, right? So much so that it is suicidal. But I am, thanks to my son, I think I'm making, me and Shreya, both of us are making a lot of progress in trying to learn the language, be more respectful. And I have to tell you this incident. I had this factory manager who was working with me, and there was something that went wrong. So I'm taking off on him because it was a very expensive fabric, and I'm saying, "Ninga theriyuma evlo problem," like that I'm going. After like 15 minutes of me taking off on him, he just told me, "Sir, ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம் sir, நீங்க இல்ல sir, உங்களுக்கு sir." That is the only thing that he had to share.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, that is the only thing that he had to share after that whole session. But having said that, what is language?
Right.
Language is a feeling. As in today, if I am able to connect with, Ranjit, with you, with a lot of people in this room, I feel that it is beyond a spoken...
The idea of,
I think it is, for me, I think it is about energy. It is about what you truly mean. And if what you mean is true and honest, language just becomes a second language.
Fantastic. I just have one more question, Vivek, before I open the floor for questions. It's really like, I'm always curious about the person and the artist, Vivek Karunakaran, the human, we meet you outside and high energy, never ready, the last one to leave the party, full of life. And Vivek Karunakaran, the artist, or Vivek Karunakaran, the brand, right? How much of your personality is in the brand? And therefore, how do these, because they share the name. So I'm just curious about how much of who you are is poured into the brand.
Two parts to this answer. I think who I am has been very beautifully shaped by my parents through the conditioning that I've had. It is continuing to get shaped by my wife Shreya, because I think I have evolved as a person through this journey of being a son. I'm the only child. And being a boyfriend and then a husband and then a dad. And it is a very beautiful journey where you're constantly learning. And this learning is not just about, is about saying good things. We've had terrible days, as in we failed many times, but that makes you stronger. So who I am is thanks to these people, these beautiful people in my life. And who I am is everything. I like to say what the brand is. It's all heart. It's all heart.
Right.
And that is what I'm trying to navigate. When you have a brand and when you grow and when you evolve, what is that balance between all heart and doing what needs to be done for the brand, right? I'm learning. I'm still a student there.
Right.
But like you rightly said, I'm the last one to leave any party. I'm always on the floor. I'm always pulling people onto the floor.
We know that.
Yes, so that continues to be the same at work. I'm the last one to leave. I'm always looking at what everyone's around, doing and seeing. As in, I poke my nose into everything,
Of course.
which is what I'm trying to navigate, not trying to do.
Right.
But that is the energy I feel what makes the brand.
Right.
If you don't have that energy, I don't think that you're being honest to who you are and what you're about. So I think it has to be a beautiful reflection of who you are.
Fantastic.
And that is Vivek Karunakaran as a brand.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vivek. But before I open the floor, I want to ask you 4 or 5 really, really short questions. When you close your eyes and think of Chennai, what is the first image that comes to your mind?
Jasmine.
Super. Fish in Chennai or fish in Trivandrum?
Trivandrum.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, Vivek, not fair. Okay.
No, that is because I have a soft corner for how my dad, who loves food, who loves his fish fry, keeps it ready every time I visit Trivandrum, and keep it ready for us for lunch. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very special memory,
Yeah.
so you're forgiven.
Yeah.
Your favorite Tamil word?
Ariga.
Okay, will that be the name of your next collection perhaps?
You never know. I think, like I said, if Idam is a book, Tangam is a chapter. So there are many more chapters to come.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Tangam or Vairam?
Definitely Tangam.
One celebrity in Chennai that you aspire to do style?
Gosh, I'm going to get into trouble, but no, not because I'm going to give a celebrity's name. I'm not for celebrities.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so...
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to get into a lot of trouble in many ways because I'll tell you why. I have voiced this that and it is not their fault. It is not the celebrity's fault. The media, the society around them makes too much a deal of it, right? And everyone's under pressure because of that.
Absolutely.
Right? For a fashion show, I think that the idea of a showstopper is to add value and not to take the value away
from,
right?
No, you said it, yeah.
How this whole culture of showstoppers and celebrities over the last many years has transformed a fashion event is where everyone's going gaga over this showstopper and what they're wearing, but what happened to all the hard work, blood and sweat that a designer, his team, and every person who put that light up, who put the ramp up, the models, who has put in, just vanishes just when the celebrity is on the catwalk. That's unfair.
Yeah.
Right? So it is not against the celebrity. It is how you protect your craft from being actually given its due,
No, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
So, the point is that as long as a celebrity is a friend of the brand and adds value to the brand, all for it.
Great.
And I think we need to change our thought process into celebrities being friends of the brand.
Yeah. Who believe in it, right?
Yeah. Like,
Absolutely.
would you support a Vivek Karunakaran? I think you would, because
bet.
you're a friend of the brand, right?
Absolutely.
I would love for a celebrity to support the brand, take the brand forward, talk about the brand. And what are you doing? You're actually making sure that the brand is evolving and you being a very beautiful, true ambassador of the brand.
For sure.
So that is my thought.
No, that's great. I mean, this whole idea of what I've taken back is this whole idea of collaboration as well, right?
Yeah.
And to recognize everyone in the scheme of things. I'm going to.
Okay, I just wanted to say, so at Lakme, we just had Siddharth.
Yeah. Walk the ramp, yeah.
Opened the show for us.
Opened the show, okay.
And the conversation me and Siddharth had before the show was exactly this. That, I told him that, I would love for you not to be there as a showstopper, but as a friend of the brand. In as many words. And because of him being as culturally and intellectually rooted, he understood where I was coming from, and hence he opened the show with this beautiful poetry about Tangam. And it was not about him being a showstopper, but it was about him representing Chennai. He did not talk about Vivek Karunakaran on the ramp.
Yeah.
He spoke about Tangam and what Tamil means and what Tangam in Tamil means to all of us. So I think if that is the kind of energy, the thought process that we are also able to resonate, I think there is so much beauty that is going to come out of it.
Thank you, Vivek, for a very, very insightful and a very, very honest conversation.
Thank you so much for the lovely evening. It was so inspirational. My question to you, I love the way it led to who wears your collection matters more to you. Thank you so much.
My question to you is, when you design, do you design it for the person wearing it or the story it tells behind it?
Thank you. I didn't get your name.
I'm Sanjana.
Sanjana. Thank you for the question, Sanjana. Whenever we create something, there's only one emotion behind that creation, and that emotion is to see that customer smile when they look at themselves in the mirror. And this is the foundation of my first to-do thing to anyone in my team. It is not about selling. It is okay if they don't buy. But how do you add value to that confidence that you build in that person when they look at themselves in the mirror and smile? It is only when we see that smile on the customer's face, we are at peace. So we create for real people, and we create with a lot of emotion behind every single thing that we create. There is a lot of passion that goes behind it. And what is beautiful because of that smile is that they become the storyteller. They talk about what they're wearing. They talk about where the textile came from. And they talk about how fabulous it is and how they feel it. So they become the storyteller. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a lovely way to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. So how do you balance between creating or designing pieces that you believe in or you're proud of with pieces you actually know will sell? Because end of the day, I mean, it's business, and only if we're able to make some money out of it, we can create more, right? And go on and represent passion or our vision. So how do you balance between creating pieces that you believe in with you creating pieces that you know will actually sell better?
Well, I have enrolled in this college called Vivek Karunakaran where I'm learning this. I'm a student. And why I'm saying that is because through the years that we've been doing what we are doing, this is what we have learned by failing more times than the many times that we have won. It is a formula that you arrive at through reasoning, through experience, and by understanding how important as an entrepreneur it is to know your product and to have data to look at. As a creator, you'll be shocked that I'm talking about data. But after 20 years of doing what I do, I've understood that if I need to survive as a creator and not just be in this wonderland of just being a creator, like you rightly said, there is a flow of a financial flow that needs to kind of giving you that platform to be able to create consistently. That can only come by identifying what are you doing, what is it that's selling, and how can you improve on what is selling. At the same time, create novelty every time, because every time a customer wants something new. So it is a learning process. The sooner you learn, I think Gen Z, you guys are fantastic. There is AI, as in there is so much, there are so many tools out there. The sooner you learn, the better you're going to be and the richer you're going to become. We are poor.
Hi Vivek, thanks Vivek for a very insightful conversation. So my question is, Vivek, how Bollywood played a very important role for fashion to kind of become a household talk in rest of the country. And I remember that Om Shanti Om sari became very popular, Deepika sari became popular, Salman's shirt or shirtless became popular. So what is the role you think the Chennai fashion industry can play along with Collywood? Because I see somewhere that is lacking the kind of fashion sense which can come out of the movies. And movies are, and Tamil Nadu per se are kind of big fans of movies, which eventually will transcend this fashion into normal public. Do you see a synergy between both of them? Do you see it's happening, or you think it should happen, should not happen? So many questions, but in a nutshell, is cinema a good medium to promote fashion?
No doubt. I think it's a fantastic medium because I think the reach that cinema has globally is outstanding. But having said that, I also believe the fact that we are stuck at a place where we're stereotyped way too much than we should be. I think if you think of South, what comes into your mind? Like Akila said, close your eyes and tell me what comes into your mind. It is a lungi dance for anyone who's outside, right? Now I'm talking about that is a stereotype. So when the stereotype is so strong, the first thing is for us to break the shackles of being stereotyped. Everything that I yearn to do and I want to do is to make sure that we tell anyone that I meet that we are not just about lungis, idlis and dosas and sambar. We have so much more to give, right? But it is a stereotypical way in which the South is perceived, which is our biggest challenge today, right? Can the movie industry think beyond it? Of course it can, but it needs to, the approach needs to be so different, right? When Vijay Deverakonda wore what he wore very recently at his wedding, which was incidentally the same time that we had also launched our collection, a lot of people thought that he was wearing us. I wish he was, but he wasn't. What he was wearing was what was made by Anamika Khanna, who's a designer in Calcutta. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Is anyone asking? See, the point is that are we looking around when we are as proud of who we are and our culture? What are we doing to be proud of that by giving it that push? What you say can the movie industry do? I used to style for movies a good 10 years, no, sorry, like 15 years ago. And one thing I understood is the power these stars have. They have the power to influence. So if they become friends of the brand, there is so much that we can put out there. Because these are the people who are not just representing a character in a movie in South. They are global stars today, right? They have a global recognition today. So if they are able to actually think about this aspect that you said seriously, if we collectively are able to think about this seriously, imagine the impact that it has. Now, for example, who's your brand ambassador? Think of putting her in something South Indian just because you choose to. For every entrepreneur here, everyone who's running a business, think of how you can use what you do and your ideology to promote what you believe in. I'm not saying that you need to be blindly do that. Think where there is talent. Think what needs a push. Gently push. That's a great direction. To do nothing is not going to get you anywhere, but to do something takes you somewhere. And that is the beginning of a lot of things.
Good evening, Vivek. I am VB, and I come from a space where fashion is not a conscious area of focus. Yet I admire people who are deeply intentional about it. A lot of people who I go along day out. So, what should we understand about fashion, apart from clothing, in terms of like identity, communication, or influence? So, for people like me, what should we understand about fashion?
One of the things that we often discuss about is the difference between fashion and style. Thank you for asking me this question, and a pleasure to meet you, Bibi. When you say that you're not from the world of fashion, I'd love to know what you do.
I'm a research scholar. I come from a engineering services background. Currently, I'm a realtor.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I think fashion is more about a collective way of how a community behaves in terms of trends, right? Style is something which is extremely personal. Style defines you. Style is how you ask that question, how you introduced yourself, how you walked into the room, and the personality that you exude when you do anything. That is style. A garment happens to be a part of that. What you choose to wear happens to be a part of that. It's inbuilt. You can choose to wear something which is not you because you decided that that is something which adds value in terms of aesthetic. But if you do not believe in what you're wearing, I don't think it really adds value. And this is my personal opinion. Because I believe for this, what he loved, to truly look good, I need to believe in the fact that I feel comfortable and I feel confident about what I'm wearing. That is the difference between this piece of clothing and style. So, a lot of people struggle to understand the difference, and that is also why, you could perhaps go to a stylist or a designer who would help you understand and navigate this to arrive at a place where you could take help to fix your wardrobe or overhaul your wardrobe, or to even perhaps sit across the table and understand your style. Just to say what I like, what I don't like, what is my day like, how would you like to represent yourself? So like you go to a doctor, you can go to a designer or a stylist and they'd be very happy to fix you. As in, I'm not prescribing this for you, I'm just saying that the difference between fashion and style is that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vivek, for patiently answering some really, really fantastic questions, I must say. So thank you for that. All of these really open up like so many things that we're thinking about. Thank you. May I please invite on stage Mr. Ranjit Rathod, Managing Director, Super Chennai, to please address the gathering first, say a few words.
Thank you, Akila ma'am, and thanks Vivek. Vivek has been a very dear friend and worked this Arattai. I mean, the kind of pride he has brought to the Chennai fashion scene is immense. Super Chennai, I would like to say a few words. It's an initiative, it is a citizens movement. It has been kind of promoted by CREDAI, which is a developers organization, but the objective is to take it to everybody in the city, to make it as a collective movement. What we can do within our strength, within our boundaries, is to amplify the city. We can't get into infrastructure, maybe that's government's job. Lots of policy making is again left to the senior bureaucrats or policy makers. But as citizens, we can start taking pride in the city and amplifying it. Most of the battles are won by confidence and the pride which we carry. So if we are not proud of our city, then who else is going to be? If you're not going to exhibit that kind of confidence when you walk into any place in the world and talk about Chennai, then no matter what we try to do on infrastructure or other policy making is not going to help. So that has been a simple belief on which Super Chennai was initiated. We are trying to make a change on the perception of the city, as Vivek also pointed out. We are trying to amplify the brand of Chennai. We have lots of great things to speak about. Yes, many more things can improve over the period of time. Yeah, and we are kind of in a competitive world where India is no more those top 4 metros. We are now competing with Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Gurgaon. And we need in this competition a kind of a packaging to the city. It's great to have a product, but if you don't have a great packaging, you're not going to buy the product also. So our job to a great extent is to create the citizens movement, to package the city with confidence, pride, and amplify the city. So lovely to see you all part of this Arattai, and many more such events will happen. In fact, many more IPs we are creating. Look forward to the summer festival which is happening. Summer, Chennai, it's hot, but we are going to make it happening. So look forward in the month of June, things will be rolled out. Please follow our digital handles. We have over 1.2 million followers. Insta, Facebook, YouTube, many other mediums are there where you can keep a track of what's happening in Chennai and especially Super Chennai. Thank you once again for having come here, and thank you Vivek and thank you Namma.
Mr. Rathod, may I please request you to honor Vivek with the champion of Chennai. I'll also invite on stage Mr. Prashant Kharche, a renowned architect in the city, to please honor Vivek with the champion of Chennai badge and also felicitate Vivek Karunakaran, please.
Just few words. First of all, thank you Akila and Vivek for that very engaging and impactful conversation. Very refreshing to see a designer speak from the heart. I'm also a designer in a sense. I'm an architect, so I know how tough it is. I guess Vivek felt this is a safe space to express his opinions. So kudos to that. One thing I want to touch on, Vivek said that, VK doesn't cater to celebrities. One thing I can say from a personal basis, whenever I wear a VK creation, I instantly feel like a celebrity. So without you knowing, Vivek, you are creating a lot of celebrities in Chennai. God bless.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Well, Super Chennai is super honored to felicitate you with the champion of Chennai badge. Thank you all for being such a fantastic audience. Thank you, Super Chennai, for giving me this honor of being in conversation with my dear friend Vivek Karunakaran.